We're also going to be streaming this on YouTube. Yes, Nabil, you can still be in the session. Zishan, welcome. So this session is useful to anyone if you're still a part of the course. Great. I mean, great that you are here and attending the session. It's nice to have you. You can still be a part of this session. Yes. So we're also streaming on YouTube, audience on YouTube. If you're here, just give us a hi. Thank you, Nabil. Okay, great. So I'm just also stopping the poll and sharing these results for Professor Sridhar to look at. Okay, these are some equal responses. Some of you feel you don't have the skills. Some of you feel, okay, you don't have the practical exposure. You're still finding the right course to upskill. Hopefully, you'll find this course useful and insightful when we talk about it. And maybe you have the skills, but you still don't know how to leverage them and look out for opportunities. Okay, great. So some of you may have these questions as well. So remember what to do if you have a question. Please use the Q&A box. Yes. And with this, I'll just quickly introduce you to the session once again. Today's agenda is for us to talk about the in-demand roles in cybersecurity and also understand what you can do to upskill for these roles. Yes. And a quick introduction about Simplilearn. Simplilearn offers skills in various domains, cybersecurity being just one of them. We've got a bunch of certifications, long-term programs. In fact, the program that we're going to talk about today as well is long, is also comprehensive enough for you to upskill and find opportunities in this domain. You also have courses in the other domains. So if you're really interested in exploring what options we have, just head to simplylearn.com and try to find options that are suitable to you, and hopefully you'll find these useful. We also have a free upskilling platform called Skill Up by Simplylearn. So you'll find a lot of free courses there, again in all of the domains that you see. Okay, great. So with that, let me introduce you to our speaker today. So Professor Sridhar is from IIIT and he specializes in IT, information technology and public policy. So his research mostly focuses on telecom regulation policy and is also funded by a lot of national and international organizations. So I was just looking at his profile. I'm going to share that with you as well. So he's author of 4 books, and there's one more book coming up if I'm right. And he's also has extensive publications in a lot of papers, journals, and also newspaper articles, right? So he's got immense teaching experience, which is why he's the right mentor for you today. And I'm also going to share his profile for you to look at. Yeah. So I'm doing that on the chat. And Professor Sridhar, it's an honor to meet you and know you as well. So I'll let you introduce yourself and then we'll get started with the session.
Thank you. Thanks, Aparna. So welcome all of you to this particular session. So great to have all of you from all parts of India. I see Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Chennai, and everyone from different places, and also one from Philippines, I think. So welcome all of you to this particular session. So as Aparna has mentioned, in this webinar, we'll basically be looking at what you can do with the skills in cybersecurity, especially after doing this advanced executive program in cybersecurity, which is being offered by IIIT Bangalore and Simplilearn. So I was just looking at it, right? So I also teach a lot of cybersecurity. Today, I had a class on cybersecurity regulations because most of the countries are still grappling with how to handle cyber frauds and things like that. So I was just looking at the recent report from IBM on cybersecurity, and it says very alarming trends, right? So the trend is that every security breach the organizations have today is going to cost them approximately $4.77 million. One security breach is going to cost them around $5 million, right? So that's the impact. So every minute security breaches happen. So you can estimate the amount of loss the businesses suffer from cybersecurity incidents. So it is a It's an area which requires immediate attention. And we don't have skilled cybersecurity professionals in the world. Forget about India. Across the world, we are short of cybersecurity professionals. And that is one of the important reasons why, for example, IIITB in collaboration with Simplilearn have been offering the certificate program in cybersecurity. So, Prana, you want to walk through these trends?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll just, before we get to the rules, we'll just talk about the trends in the domain, cybersecurity domain.
Yeah. So cyber threats, cyber crime have been exponentially increasing. Various forms of cyber frauds are happening. The one of the most important frauds that happen today is phishing, right? So where you are induced to buy or click on a link and then you are robbed of money from your bank. That's a very common crime that happens. But today there are things like digital arrests which happen, which bind you to a home and then looks as if you are a criminal, and all the concocted stories make you believe that you're talking to your cyber police. So digital arrests have become very common. There are also attacks on critical infrastructure, such as, for example, electricity grids, gas pipelines, and things like that. And these are all performed in a very sophisticated way using something called as a ransomware. So the perpetrators of the crime basically blackmail the organizations for a lot of money in turn to remove, for example, any virus or any other malware that they have implemented in the system to come up. So, for example, there was a major outage of all the gas pipelines in the US about 2 years back, and the company had to give out a lot of money, millions of dollars, in order to get out of this particular situation. So there are a lot of cyber threats which are happening not only for you and me as individuals, for businesses, society at large, and also on the infrastructure. And there is an industry-wide skill shortage. So, the estimates are that the 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs will remain unfilled globally due to this growing skill gap. The important thing is that this is very niche skill. Earlier we used to talk only about network security, but today we talk about a lot of things. I'll discuss a little bit about the job roles that you can do in the broad area of cybersecurity. Now, again, because it's a supply-demand situation where the demand is much, much more than the supply, the wages of cybersecurity professionals have also increased, have also been increasing over a period of time. So in general, if you are an IT services or IT developer, you earn X. If you have cybersecurity skills, then your wage earnings can increase by about 30 to 40%, right? So in development, in provisioning of services, in operations, in all these IT areas, cybersecurity is becoming very, very important in today's context.
Got it. So let's look at each of these roles, but do you just want to quickly highlight what the 5 trending roles today are?
Yeah. So here we have listed about 5 trending cybersecurity job roles. The one is the nut and bolt guy who analyzes each and every cybersecurity incident. We'll go into some details of this job role later on. It's a cybersecurity analyst. More and more IT services are being deployed in the cloud. So gone are the days where you have an organization which installs the services that it has on its own computers, on its own servers. Today, most of the services are being deployed on the cloud, either on Azure, or Microsoft Azure, or Amazon Web Services, or Google Cloud, and so on. So these cloud instances also are prone to vulnerabilities, and hence the need for cloud security specialists. I just was looking at the IBM cybersecurity report. It has been pointed out that while a security breach can cost $4.77 million for a company, if the company implements artificial intelligence-based security measures, they can actually reap benefit to the tune of about $5 million. So there is a positive win if, for example, the organization implements artificial intelligence or machine learning-based mechanisms in order to thwart cybersecurity, reduce vulnerability of the systems, hence the need for AI security engineer. Zero trust architecture. Don't believe in anyone or anything, right? Zero trust. Today's world is such that you can't believe anyone, right? So with zero trust, you have to be very, very proactive in making sure that there are no vulnerabilities and that it will not be used by hackers. And therefore, in the architecture of your IT information technology, you have to build in zero trust architecture. Hence the need for the fourth type of job role called zero trust architect. The last one is incident response. So it has been proven that cybersecurity cannot be provided with a guaranteed 100%, right? So the cybersecurity incidents will continue to happen. It is not possible. I mean, possibly you are all aware about the CrowdStrike incident, which happened roughly about 4 months back, right? So I'll just tell you the instance if you allow me, Aparna. So CrowdStrike is basically a company which is a security, third-party security service provider for Microsoft Azure. So they normally release patches to cover up vulnerabilities periodically. They released a patch on one fine day, but unfortunately, they didn't test it fully. It is impossible for any engineer, any architect, any designer to make sure that the code they release is 100% perfect. It can never be guaranteed. So this patch went into Microsoft Azure. On the same day, all the applications which used Microsoft of Azure got a blue screen of death. There was in UK, the doctors were performing a robotic surgery, and suddenly the screen went blank, blue screen of death. At the airports, people were checking in. Suddenly, they had a blue screen of death. They were not able to proceed further. It cost billions of dollars all over the world. 3 days it took for CrowdStrike in order to remove this patch and then correct it, right? So incidences have continued to happen, will continue to happen, and therefore there is a need for incident response. How quickly you can recover from such incidents is the responsibility of the incident response manager. So these are broadly 5 trending cybersecurity job roles that we have outlined here.
Yeah, I think let's look at the cybersecurity analyst first. Let's understand this role in detail.
Yeah, so cybersecurity threats continue to happen. The cyber attackers normally look for some kind of a vulnerability in your system. So as we have discussed earlier, there's going to be some hole somewhere, right? Because it is impossible to write a code, even using ChatGPT, to have 100% secure or foolproof code. So it is quite possible that there will be vulnerabilities, and the attackers can use these vulnerabilities in order to create cyber attacks. So it is the responsibility of the cybersecurity analyst to continuously monitor networks and systems to identify such security threats and vulnerabilities, right? So there is incidents, there is vulnerability testing and patching and things like that should be done continuously in order to make sure that the threats are detected and the vulnerabilities are plugged in so that the probability of a security attack happening is reduced as much as possible, right? So that's the whole job of a cybersecurity analyst. Threat detection, incident response, if at all threat is detected, so that we can investigate the security breaches, mitigate the damage, put in patches, reduce vulnerabilities, and then periodically conduct security audits. It has also been mandated by regulators all over the world that cybersecurity audits have to be done periodically, right? So it is not enough if you if you do an audit. It is much like a financial audit. Financial audits are done normally once in a year or twice in a year, and the similar thing is happening in the cybersecurity front as well. So periodic security audits as mandated by regulators is also required for businesses. So conduct regular assessment to make sure that they have done all due diligence in order to make sure that the systems are as secure as possible. So these are the broad job roles of a cybersecurity analyst. And this person is going to be the critical frontline, is going to be in the front line of the cybersecurity defense in the organization.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. What about a cloud security specialist?
So as we discussed before, most of the IT systems today run on the cloud, right? It can be run on a public cloud, such as Amazon Web Service, or a private cloud. So it is quite possible that you can have an instance, businesses can have an instance on AWS or Microsoft Azure, which is only for private use. It's called private cloud. It can also be on a semi-public cloud. But most of the organizations have moved towards cloud in general, right? So most of the IT systems and services run on the cloud. Now, when it is run on the cloud, we have to make sure that the instance that you run on the cloud is protected, right? Because if it is run on a public cloud, it is quite possible that it can be open, and the others can view what is happening inside the IT processes and data systems. Therefore, it has to be encrypted, and it has to be made sure that this encryption is as strong as possible. If it is run on a private cloud, it is still very much necessary that incidents could possibly happen, and therefore there has to be a lot of backup procedures, and security from breaches have to be taken into account in cloud. Compliance and risk management. As you know, I don't know whether you are aware of it or not, most of the countries have implemented what is known as a data protection regulation. For example, the European Union was a pioneer in creating a framework called the General Data Protection Regulation, or EU GDPR, which has been in effect from 2016. Now, these regulations, the US has been having the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act for providing a secure environment for health data. It's been there for quite some time. So these acts and regulations mandate that the organizations take enough measures. They do a risk management. For example, whenever the businesses and organizations put in some security controls, such as, for example, firewall, things like that you will learn in the course, they have to invest in the security, right? Now, normally, a chief security officer, it is the job of the chief security officer to sell this idea to the chief executive, right? A CEO. So chief security officer have to prove that if I put in $1 million on cybersecurity, what is the return that I'll be getting back? Very difficult to measure, right? For example, of course, you can quote, for example, IBM's study, which says that if you don't protect your information systems, then it is going to cost you, each breach is going to cost you $5 million, right? But it is very difficult to measure. So the chief security officers or the IT security team really have a tough task in proving, is there any return on the investment on the security controls, right? So that is why in most of the businesses, security is not taken very, it is taken lightly, right? Because there is no return on the investment. Unlike marketing, if you spend $1 on marketing, you know how much you are going to get back as revenue. In the case of cybersecurity, there is no measure like that. Hence, regulators all over the world have come to the conclusion that it is only through regulation that you can implement cybersecurity controls in organizations and protect the society at large. And therefore, there's a lot of compliance and risk management practices that have been put in by the regulators, and also standard setting organizations such as ISO. So these are very much required for the cloud security specialists to manage and to implement. And threat monitoring, as we discussed earlier, continuous monitoring of cybersecurity threats and vulnerability as they crop up in a cloud environment is very much important, because the actual physical storage is not visible, right? For example, if there is a server before your eyes, and if there is a cyber attack, then the best thing that you can do is go and switch it off. In a cloud, you can never do that, because the cloud, the instance may be running in Ireland, for example, and there is no way by which you can make sure that if there is a security attack, you can escape from that. And therefore, continuous monitoring of the cybersecurity threats in a cloud environment is very, very important. And these are all the responsibilities of a cloud security specialist, protecting the cloud environment from cyber threats.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does an AI security engineer do?
Yeah. So as we have discussed before, there are adversarial attacks, right? So people use AI for good, but people also use AI for bad, right? So using AI, it's possible to create an adversarial attack, cybersecurity attack, because the AI, using AI, the artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques, it's possible to find out from amongst the numerous vulnerabilities that the systems might have, which one is the most important for us to attack. And the cyber attacker can actually use these algorithms in order to penetrate this vulnerable areas in the information technology systems. If these happen, then we have to counteract with an AI algorithm, because the AI algorithm which the cyber attacker is using is very powerful. It has intelligence, and therefore it has to be counteracted with an AI-powered threat detection mechanisms. So today, a lot of tools as well as methodologies are available to use machine learning techniques in order to identify cyber threats. Whenever there is an anomaly in the system behavior, using AI, it's possible to find out whether there is going to be a security attack or not, and then take preventive actions. Okay? So developing AI-driven security automation tools today is very, very important, and to respond to adversarial attacks, because the attacker is also using AI, and therefore, unless you use AI, it's not possible to actually intelligently solve this particular cybersecurity problems. So as we have mentioned before, adversarial AI defense, building security models that defense against the AI-generated cyber threats is becoming the main theme today. So even if you look at some of the recent reports on cybersecurity, they all emphasize the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in counteracting the adversarial AI attacks. So these are also very important for enhancing cybersecurity, and hence the role of the AI security engineer, who knows not only cybersecurity, but also knows how to use artificial intelligence and machine learning as a defensive mechanism.
Got it. All right, all right. So what about a zero trust architect? What does he or she do?
Yeah. So today, because of the variations of the cybersecurity attacks, it is most of the organizations are taking this approach, a zero trust architecture. Never trust. You don't trust anyone. Always verify to make sure that the system can be trusted, right? So that's the zero trust architecture. So how do you start this? We start with never trust or don't trust anyone. Therefore, we have to have very strict access control mechanisms. Who will have access to which part of the IT system has to be closely governed. It has to be in the cybersecurity policies. And then it starts with very strict access mechanisms, so that the users and devices only granted necessary permissions as and when required. The second thing is continuous verification. Monitor the user behavior and the devices that are connected to the network in real-time basis, so that if at all there is any anomaly, then you can quickly verify it, and then we can take appropriate actions in order to prevent them becoming vulnerable. And the last one is segmentation. You have a lot of networks. A network is a network of networks is the internet, and that's a classic example of a network. You have to subdivide these networks so that they're all individual security zones, right? And therefore, it is not possible. So normally the attackers attack the weakest point on the network, right? So the weakest point is attacked, And then the attack can actually propagate through the network and even move towards the strongest part of the network. But if you divide these networks using security measures, possible that you can prevent the movement of the attack from the most vulnerable to the least vulnerable, from the weak point to the strong point. These are the essentials of the zero trust architecture.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. This seems to be a very interesting role to pursue. So what does an incident response manager do?
Yeah. So as we have discussed before, the real-time threat mitigation strategies are required for businesses. So which means that vulnerability tests and things like that have to be done periodically, not just once. If at all there are some attacks, then there should be a mechanism to do a forensic investigation so that the origin of the breach and the attack vectors are learned so that they are prevented from getting used again and again. Also, whenever the cybersecurity incidents happen, there's a lot of communication which needs to happen. For example, it has been mandated by most of the regulators, including in India, that if there is a security breach, it has to be notified. For example, in India, there is some organization called Computer Emergency Response Team India. So similarly, there are CERTs. CERT is primarily in the US, but there are country CERTs. So the notification that I've recently received from CERTN is that any security breach which happens, and if the chief security officer comes to know about it, it has to be reported to CERTN within 6 hours. Okay, that's a very short time. Within 6 hours, you have to report the incident. You have to report all the users who've been affected by it, and then you have to take effective measures so that this does not happen again, right? So the whole incident response revolves around continuous monitoring, right? Breach notification if it happens, corrective action if the breach happens. So this is like a 24/7, 365 days job, right? So this is the responsibility of the incident response manager.
Got it. All right. So all five roles seem really interesting and also high, very, very impactful for an organization. We'll come to the Q&A just in a bit, but let's understand the future of these job roles and also in general, the future of cybersecurity careers. What is it looking like?
So economics dictate that when the demand is more than supply, then you can demand whatever you want, right? So that's what cybersecurity job opportunities are about. As we have discussed before, there is a skill shortage. World over, there is a skill shortage. But cybersecurity incidents continue to happen on a day-to-day basis. And therefore, we need lots and lots of cybersecurity engineers in order to bridge the gap between the supply and the demand. So as the demand is more and the supply is less, you can expect that there is a wage increase in this particular area for quite some time. It has been increasing, at the CAGR of about 33%. And it will continue to increase until 2030. That's the expected demand for cybersecurity professionals and the increase in wages. Apart from that, in general, if you're a generalist, if you're just a software developer, then you earn some X. But if you know secure coding, for example, or if you are a network engineer and you know secure network engineering, or if you are an operations person, you know SecOps, right? Security and operations, then suddenly your skill becomes much more valuable to the organization, and you can expect even 1.5 to 2 times the salary that you expect otherwise, right? That you get otherwise. So adding cybersecurity to your skill portfolio is becoming very, very important in today's context. You may be a developer, but do you know secure coding? You may be an operations guy. Do you know SecOps? You may be an AIML guy. Do you know AIML, right? So these are the prefixes that organizations are looking for to provide a secure environment. So you can safely assume that if you have cybersecurity skill in your portfolio of skills, then definitely it is much more valuable than not having it. right? All these, AI, cloud security, cloud sec, zero trust architecture, these are becoming very, very important in today's cybersecurity career.
Understood. All right, amazing. So some questions that a lot of people had is what skills are required and what kind of tools they should be learning. So maybe we'll cover that while we're talking about the course, because the course also covers a bunch of these tools that opens you up for these careers these careers that we saw, right? So one quick question before we proceed to talking about the course, Professor Sridhar, is let's say someone is in a business background, not exactly from a tech background. So how does one get into this field of cybersecurity? I mean, broadly speaking, a lot of people have this question of what if I don't have the coding background, or the so-called tech background? What does that person do?
See, definitely, if you are not a programmer or an architect,
Mhm.
or you don't know coding, you have to put in a lot more effort than the others. That's
Mhm.
for sure, right? So, for example, in the course that we are offering, we have network security, we have incident response, secure coding, and you have a lot of these different subjects in which some domain expertise is required. So, but what we have done in this particular program is to train those who do not have the requisite skills in cybersecurity. So, which means that we are starting from scratch, and then over a period of 6 months, we will build you up, right? So, that is the position that we have taken in this particular program. So, as long as you have the inclination, right, the aptitude to learn, right, and to grasp the fundamentals of cybersecurity over a period of time should not be a problem, irrespective of your prior background.
Absolutely. I hope that answers your question. We'll come to the rest of the questions just in a bit. Now, this was the course that Professor Sridhar was talking about. This is,
Good.
yeah, the Advanced Executive Program in Cybersecurity in collaboration with IBM. Now, what I will do is, while we're talking about this, I'll also share the link to this course for you guys to refer. And I request anybody putting questions on the chat, please put it on the Q&A box. You might lose your question, right? So this is the link to the course. You can also download the syllabus and take a look at what we offer. Of course, we'll be covering more of that in detail now. This particular, the page says that the admission closes on the 12th of Feb, but this is for the upcoming cohort. Now, if you would like to be a part of our next cohort in March or the later months, you can still kind of express your interest, and someone will reach out to you from the learning advisors team and help you understand the details, right? So the course is 6 months long. Of course, it offers you the advantage of having IIIT on your credentials. So, Professor Sridhar, would you like to take them through how the collaboration between Simplilearn and IIIT happens here, and how one can leverage the IIIT advantage?
So this course has a number of components, right? So it includes all the way from network security to user GenAI and security to cyber regulations to other topics. So enterprise security and so on, right? So what we have done is to pool a number of faculty experts. So, for example, there are faculty experts who do application web security. There are faculty members who specialize in network security, and so on. So, what we have done is to pool IIIT faculty who have experience. For example, you see Professor Vivek Srinivasan. He is the greatest cryptographer in the world, right? He is a cryptographer, right? So he knows the in and out of cryptography. So these are all experts, and so what we have done is to create video lessons, smaller modules that you can assimilate. So so the content, the asynchronous content that you will have on Simplilearn platform includes video lectures by our expert faculty.
Got it.
Apart from that, we also have something called as masterclasses.
Yeah.
Right? So these masterclasses are very, very specific in nature. For example, we have You saw Professor Vivek Srinivasan. There is also one more faculty member who specializes in cryptography. So advances in cryptography, for example, is a masterclass which will be taken by IIIT faculty member. And these are advanced concepts of cryptography, which is not covered in the regular program. And that is covered in the masterclass, which happens live for 2 hours or 2 to 3 hours. There is a faculty member who specializes on automotive security. He basically worked in Bosch for a long time. He's German, actually. And he teaches this particular session on automotive security. Today, the automotives that you have, the vehicles that you have, they're all, mostly they have internet connectivity, and their performance tuning, especially EVs, they have their performance and things like that are monitored by IT systems, and they are prone to hacking, right? And that can have very serious implications, including, for example, the vehicle getting involved in accidents and things like that. So there is a whole specific class that this professor takes on automotive security, how to ensure that the security is built into, for example, automotive systems, right? So these are all specific payment security. That is one more important aspect. So we do on a day-to-day basis digital payments, but these payments have to be very secure, right? So, for example, how does the National Payment Corporation, which runs the UPI system, make sure that the digital payments that you make are as secure as possible? So payment security and the associated standards are covered in one of our master classes. So what we have done is to augment whatever is there in the course with advanced concepts using master sessions, which are conducted by IIIT faculty.
Understood. Understood. Great. I think that's going to really help them, interact, also learn from the experts, then and there, and also ask their questions, and of course, interact with their peers who also might have experience in the field. So you kind of learn from each other as well. Now, some of you were asking what skills you need to gain in order to become the job roles that we were talking about. Of course, these are some skills that you would gain. Would you like to highlight on what they will be learning here, and what the outcomes will be, and what kind of tools they'll be working on?
Yeah. So definitely, see, there are a lot of tools like Open, VAS, and Nessus. These are all tools which are used for detecting vulnerability, doing vulnerability testing, detecting, for example, cybersecurity attacks and things like that. So there's a lot of this tool driven, right? So which means that some of them, for example, like Open VAS, these are all open source tools, but there are also some, for example, proprietary tools that we use in the program. So these tools will give you an edge over the others in terms of learning and applying the cybersecurity concepts. So first, you understand the theory behind cybersecurity, and then you use tools in order to practice, right? To do practice sessions so that you'll be able to sort of handle real-time problems. So a lot of tools as given here are also covered in some form or the other in our course, in our program, so that you'll get hands-on sessions with using the tools in the area of general area of cybersecurity. Some of them are suitable for network security, some of them for cloud security. So these tools are being used in the program in order to give you the hands-on experience.
Understood. Right. So of course, we'll get to the specific questions on what exactly you need to gain in order to, pick up these job roles. We'll talk about that. But after this course, you should be ready to take up, these are just some examples. You should be ready to take up the role of information security analysis, security architect, something that we saw today as well. You'll also be ready to take up the role of an ethical hacker, right? Of course, these salaries are just an average of what is mentioned on the various job portals, but you can take a look at it yourself as well, and understand about what kind of roles open up after you finish this course.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is very important, Aparna. I mean, ethical
Yeah.
hacking, right? So for example, businesses, they want to make sure that they do a lot of due diligence in order to protect their information assets. So
Yeah.
they proactively hire or deploy ethical hackers in order to hack the system. If they are able to hack the system, then they are able to find out where the vulnerabilities are so that the businesses can proactively address this, right? So these are known as white hat hackers. I mean, these are hackers which are used by organizations in order to improve the security infrastructure of the company. And hence, these are very important roles and they also get huge salary.
Got it. Understood. Understood. So, you understood now how this course is structured and what this course offers you. Just a couple of things that I would like to touch upon along with what Professor Sridhar said is that, so you also have courses from IBM. So you get access to IBM's learning portal. And for those courses, you get, an IBM certification as well. And along with this, you have hands-on learning through projects. You have 8 projects, such projects. And also, of course, you learn how GenAI is really used in cybersecurity, how it is used to understand and develop threat intelligence and all of that. So you also get something known as Simplilearn Job Assist as a part of this program. Now, this is just basically you get an access to the IIM Jobs Pro membership membership feature for 6 months. And this will help you get your profile highlighted to potential recruiters. So this does not mean that we guarantee you a job. Please remember that this is just a sort of assistance that we offer for you to advance in your career. Yeah. So I'll just quickly take you through what our alumni have to say as well. And, we'll also have a session with one of these alumni very, very soon. So it's coming up on the 20th as well. So we'll take you through his experience and help you understand his journey too. So really excited about that. But let's understand about the certificate. So this is how your certificate will look like. You receive it from IIITB, and also, like I mentioned, you receive a certificate from the IBM for IBM courses as well. So the course fee is 1,55,000 almost, but you have no cost EMI options from these providers. Now, very few of you here are actually outside India. So I'm not sure how much the course fee for you guys will be. You should also be able to access discounts. The best person to answer that would be a learning advisor, right? So what I'm going to do right away is if everything seems okay to you and you're really interested in pursuing this course, you can click a yes on the poll that I'm about to launch. Okay, so I'll keep this poll live, and now we'll jump right into the questions. I'm also going to be keeping the screen share on just in case anyone wants to look at the cohort dates and how the enrollments look like. Okay, so I'll just quickly jump to some similar questions. A lot of them have specific questions related to the job roles that we talk about. So what if someone wants to pursue cloud security? What if someone wants to pursue, incident response or zero trust? So are there specific certifications or upskilling courses that one needs to do? Or, this course itself is all encompassing?
No, definitely, this course will cover all the aspects that which are provided for the job roles that we have indicated. But if it will increase the chances of you getting into a specific role if you do further certification. For example, I'm sure that with IBM you will also be able to gain certificates, complete some courses, advanced courses in, for example, cloud security or AI security, and then get the certificates from IBM as well. So this will be complementary.
Got it. So Tariq, to answer your question, see, obviously in-depth knowledge in all tools will help you, but you don't need in-depth knowledge in the role that you're about to take. So maybe decide on which path you would want to choose. And of course, in the program, you're going to be learning all these tools and understand how it is practically used in the various job roles we talk about and also saw on the course page. So, but to answer your question, it's always good to have a certain goal in mind and try to deep dive in that one role. I hope that answers your question. Now, we have another question on the chat from Shishtipal, who says that he didn't get a job after this course. Now, Shishtipal, remember that this course is not exactly your springboard to getting a job. So you will not be getting a job just because you have a certificate from IIITB. You will need to demonstrate the skills that you learned, and you should be able to kind of do that convincingly to the employers that you talk to. And also your outreach process and your resume needs to highlight what you exactly learned. So I'm very sorry that you're kind of struggling in that area. But remember, this is my answer to your question, Professor Sridhar. I'm sure you see students like these as well, even in IIITB. So do you have anything else to add apart from what I said?
No, definitely. I mean, getting a job is not guaranteed even at IIITB in your in-person program.
Yeah.
So definitely continuous, um, uh, you know, uh, pursue. You have to continually pursue, and then I'm sure that it will work out. Um, Somebody has asked the question about CISSP certificates. So definitely accumulating certificates such as, for example, from IBM or CISSP definitely will add more value.
Right, got it. So Madhu, this course is actually a completely online course. This does not have any offline sessions. So I hope, Shishtipal, we have answered your question. And we also talked about what kind of skills you need to have if you need to pursue the cloud security roles and how the certifications really help. So Tariq, I hope your question also is answered. And Bishweshwar, we answered this question on what skills are required. So whatever you saw on the course page is pretty much the skills that we covered today, and those are the skills that employers are looking for in today's times, right? So like Professor Sridhar just highlighted, remember, just doing the course is not going to get you a job right away. So you will need to kind of do your outreach, research on where you want to go, what you want to do as well. So it is an equal amount of effort from the learner too. Yes. So Nabil has a question, Professor Sridhar. Do we have to do more certifications as well, apart from what the course offers?
See, for the audience, we had a poll earlier by
Yeah.
Aparna. So we have freshers and we have people who have experience.
Yes.
Right? People who are experienced, they may be technical architects, they may be program managers, they can be in operations and so on. So for them, this certificate is an add-on, right? And therefore they put SEC in front of their skill level, and therefore it is easier for them to sort of migrate to new job roles or move to a different job at a higher salary and so on. It is easier for them. Whereas freshers, you are starting from scratch, right? And therefore, this course will only provide you, will enable you to acquire the skills which are required for cybersecurity professionals, but you might have to do certain things more. For example, like it's great that you are able to do IBM certification through this particular program. It will also help if you look at CISP certifications if you're a fresher, so that you will be able to sell yourself better than an experienced person who already has certain skills through his experience.
Right. So I think that answers all the questions that's about, okay, I'm a fresher, what should I do? What else can I do? How should I get started? I think this answers your question, which he just suggested. So it's CISSP, if I'm right, or yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are that's the certification that you can do. So Venu has a question. This is why I say please post your question on the Q&A box. This way I'm not missing the questions and I'm not having to scroll up and down, looking for which question is coming up. Anyway, so Venu is from an EV testing background. He only has knowledge in PLC programming and some Python. What basic programming languages can he learn?
See, this course requires, of course, having knowledge about Python programming and scripting is very much required for this particular program. So if you have the mindset for algorithmic coding, you should be fine.
Understood. Got it. So Just one more question, a basic one is someone needs to have a bachelor's degree to be eligible for this course, right? So people who are students need to complete
Yes,
their graduation and then
yes.
they will be eligible. Yes. So that's your
Because this is
answer.
an advanced executive program in cybersecurity, so which
Hmm.
means that you are no more a student. So those who are in the final year, they have to complete, and even if they have a provisional certificate, it's possible for us to accept you into that.
Okay. So Nabil, I was just typing your answers. Simplilearn offers CISSP as well. So you can head to simplilearn.com, head to the cybersecurity category, and you should be able to find the CISSP course. Okay, I think there's one more question. Anything specifically for forensic audit? Do they have to do anything special? Any specific course or way to upskill?
See, cyber forensics will be covered as part of the course, but if you want to be a real cyber forensic expert, then you have to upskill yourself by taking specific programs.
Hmm. 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 Um, yes. Okay, then which course is better for a second year student? Okay, Professor Sridhar, maybe you could take that question. Okay, someone is in the second year and they want to upskill in.
Second year of the bachelor's program or the bachelor's undergraduate program or
Yeah,
graduate
I'm
program?
assuming, yes, they look like a bachelor. Yes, UG, yes.
Undergraduate. So unfortunately, see, this program is for working professionals, right? So we don't enroll students into this particular program. So,
Mhm.
I mean, normally what happens is that we do verification, credential verification. And at that time, even if you apply, you might get rejected because this course is meant for professionals or those who have completed their undergraduate.
Okay, understood. So maybe finish your undergraduate course wherever you are, and then maybe that's when you think about specializing and.
So one suggestion that I can give is, of course, if you go to Udemy or Coursera, you might find some courses which you can possibly take so that you're not left behind.
Right. Okay, I think we're pretty much there. There's just one more question. Can we perform honeypot on cloud? And should it be a regular practice? Manali has that
Mhm.
question.
So honeypot, I'm not sure whether there is any assignment on you to create a honeypot on the cloud, but you can try, I think.
Right. Got it. So I think we don't have any other questions from YouTube as such, but I think we've also collected the interest in the course. If you're still interested in the course, please make sure you head to the link. I mean, the link that I gave you. I'm just going to give you that once again. Yeah. So all you have to do is to go to the live chat and enter your details, or just click on apply now and enter your details, and someone will get in touch with you. Okay, so I'm just ending this poll right here. And what we would like to know is how you liked this session and what you would like us to do next, or what you would like us to do better. If there's anything specific you would want to learn in our upcoming sessions on cybersecurity, or you would want Professor Sridhar to cover something specific, please let us know in the feedback.
Aparna, there is a question. I think I saw it earlier as well about the certificate. So at least for this particular program, Advanced Executive Program in Cybersecurity, a certificate will be issued by IIIT Bangalore. So this will be an authenticate credential verified certificate.
Yes, correct. So I'm not sure if Nurullah is asking about the certificate for this course or the webinar. So you remember, for the course, you're getting a certificate from IIIT-B. And for this webinar, please hold on. I will collect your names and you will receive a certificate in the next 24 hours. Yeah, so Nitesh has a question. He wants to know what sort of a skills does one need to become an SOC analyst?
See, Operations Center, definitely SecOps is one of the important things that you need to learn, security
Hmm.
and operations. And
Hmm.
SecOps is covered, I'm sure that it's also covered in one of the master classes by one of the security operations expert. So these are very specific roles and operations that you're looking at, and it requires SecOps to be learned.
Okay, got it. Got it. So I think, Nitesh, to answer your question, what you can do is maybe just download the course syllabus and understand how SecOps is covered in this course. You might want to do that by downloading the brochure as well. Okay, Sweetie, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, please make sure your question is clear. What course for MCA program with? So I didn't get your questions. If you can just put it in a clear sentence, it'll be great. Okay, so if there is no one else giving us a rating on the webinar, thank you so much for giving your feedback. We'll just quickly also collect your names for the certificate. I'm going to keep this poll on certificate live for a while we take more questions. So I'll be closing in the next 5 minutes. So please make sure you ask your questions to Dr. Professor Sridhar and get them clarified while we're still here. Yes. And like I suggested, it's a great idea to actually download the syllabus and understand what the course offers, how your projects are structured, what are you exactly going to be doing. So I'm just going to share my screen and show you that. This is available in detail in the course brochure, but just to give you a hang of what happens, you're going to understand what happens by being a security analyst for a day, or what happens when you are a malware analyst for a day, or a network consultant for a day. So you're going to be doing these live projects to understand and apply the learnings that you have and kind of know what happens in the real world in these job roles, right? So someone asked what skills are required. So this course pretty much covers end-to-end skills that you need to gain in order to take up jobs in the field of cybersecurity. So you can be rest assured there, but for your satisfaction, all you can do is probably just download the syllabus and take a look at what we offer in detail. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we have more questions. If you've given a yes on the poll, yeah, someone will contact you tomorrow. All of you are based out of India, so the India team, the learning advisors team, will contact you and let you know the details of the course, help you understand or maybe frame your goals better, and help you understand how this course exactly fits into your career goals. Yeah. There's one more question. Basic programming language list. Okay, I think we answered that, Venu. So we did answer that while you put that question on the chat.
Yeah. So basic Python programming and scripting is very much required. And of course, the aptitude for coding is very much required.
Right. Okay, great. Let's take a look at the certificate poll. So we've got another 7 or 8 of you who are yet to enter. People on YouTube, if you are interested in the course, the same instructions apply to you. Please make sure you click on the video description and use the discount to enroll in the course. Or if you would like to understand the course more in detail, please make sure you enter your name and email ID correctly. And thanks everyone for joining and taking the time out. Thank you, Hemant.
By the way, if you enter into our program, if you enroll into our program, I will be taking one of the master classes,
yes,
right? And that will be on security economics and security regulations around the world. So that will be my master class if you take.
So you will be seeing Professor Sridhar once again if you actually become a part of this course. One of you, I think, is already enrolled in the course, but it's great to have learners from different parts of the country and showing enthusiasm and interest to learn and pursue a career in this field. I hope you found the session useful, and we'll see you in another session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. In case someone has a question on how you can reach out to a learning advisor about this course. Okay, wait, I'm just going to keep the chat box off. Okay, anyway, we're getting a lot of thank yous. Okay, so what I'll do is just post the email ID again. So webinars@simplylearn.net is the email ID in case you have questions about your certificate, if you didn't receive it by tomorrow evening, or let's say you have questions about the course, you can reach out to us on this email ID. Okay, thanks everyone, Nitin, Nabil, everyone else for joining in. It was great bringing this session. And thank you, Professor Sridhar.
Thanks, Aparna, for coordinating.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
See you.
bye.